Let's cast our mind back now to Friday night at the MCG. It was a win to Collingwood, but Damo, to trot out that tired old line, it came at a cost.
Yeah, it did, and it came at the cost of the captain with the hamstring that he pinged in the first quarter of the game. That's the incident in question. He was chasing Jeremy Cameron, who had an extraordinary game of football himself, but came off the ground. And while the initial narrative via the club was that it was just an awareness component, tightness. They did have scans conducted, and as such, he will now miss clearly the next 2 home and away games. They've got, obviously, the competition has the bye after that, so they're hoping he's back for the first final.
And can I just say, and this is probably a little in, OK, so forgive me, but while most clubs will take their injured players through back doors and try everything possible to try and, you know, sort of shake the media, and in doing so sort of like deny their fans facts, Collingwood's media department was outstanding by saying, OK, Darcy's going in for scans at this time, he'll talk then. Jordan De Goey is going in at this time. He doesn't need to talk. It's a corky, whatever. If more clubs were as transparent as Collingwood, then I think fans would be better informed.
Well, even last week, TJ, after Nick Dacos had the diagnosis publicly given to his knee, which will keep him out to a prelim final at the earliest, they held a media conference to him to speak. To address that, and rather than hiding behind it. So they've always been that way.
Yeah. So well, they haven't always been that way. But other clubs, they've got to stop being paranoid and just trust the media to work with the clubs.
Lost their last 2 games and they weren't very good in the first quarter. So Craig McRae said they want to be the hunters again, and they didn't do it in the first quarter. And I thought, their captain out, what do? But this is very early stage of second quarter. So they started to win the football back, multiple entries inside forward 50. So the Cats were all over them. But in the first part of this second quarter, they could not get the ball at their end of the ground, and it was multiple inside 50s for Collingwood. I think they had 15-4 at one stage in this second term. Look at these touches here. So they want to go quick, and this is what they were doing in the first quarter, the Cats. But Collingwood time and time again, early second quarter, one-on-one wins, getting the ball back, going back the other way. Isaac Quainer was huge. Hoskin Elliott was huge out of this side, and Maynard as well. So they tried to go to the outer side of the MCG a lot, but the ball just kept coming back, and I thought the momentum shifted. Collingwood didn't score a hell of a lot through this period, but the momentum was really good. You have a look at Maynard taking another mark here again, and the last bit of vision is they go back inside forward 50, and this is what he meant by hunting. This is what we want to hunt. They wanted to hunt the Cats, so this is pressure all the way back to the goal line. They get it all the way back and they squeeze it out, but the pressure's still there. Jordan De Goey takes a mark, and I thought without kicking goals, they'd change the momentum of the game early.
TJ, the worry for me is for Dacos and Moore, they won't have played for a month or longer going into a final. So Dacos, bringing blokes in for a qualifying final is not ideal, missing that much footy.
But it has happened though, hasn't it?
It has happened, but you don't like doing it. You know, they've seen a lot of teams in grand finals and then you bring players in. This is good. First final, it's different. Yeah. But it's probably backfires on you more than it goes your way.
But if you were Darcy Moore, right, or Nick Dacos, there's no way that you'd be wanting to be held back.
No, they're straight in, but I'm saying it's not ideal when you might come up against a team who's much more settled than they are. Yeah.
Talking about a big moment last night with an on-field adjudication, it happened again in this particular game, and there are a couple of incidents, one which the AFL has signed off on, and I don't have an issue with them signing off on this. I mean, that boundary umpire is in good position. They presented another video angle of that. Whether he completed the mark before it was out of bounds, I don't know. The problem for the assistant was that the mark was paid and then he kicked an extraordinary goal. This is the one, though. Brad Close in the last quarter, handballing to Jeremy Cameron out of bounds with 2 field umpires monitoring this situation. There's one who's given the mark, and then there's another one in shot here, allowing that play to continue when it was clearly out of bounds. And again, to the AFL's credit, first thing yesterday morning, it did admit that was a howler.
They didn't have much choice, did they? Yeah. I can't believe how dumb it was of Cameron to call for the football in that situation. So there needs to be some criticism on him and Close. That should have clearly been a throw-in. There's 3 umpires in a triangle that got that wrong. But I wanted to have a look at Maynard. So regardless of the decision with this Cameron mark out of bounds, this was a reaction from Braden Maynard, and this is some of the dissent ones we've seen earlier on in the year that were paid. So that was paid, of course. This is the same year. He's saying your arms are out, it cost them the game. This is round 20 on a Friday night. You can't do that. You can't point very gently at the scoreboard. That's dissent. And there was another one from Brody Kemp in that same game. And Maynard can absolutely lose his mind. That's where I get frustrated with this and the changing of interpretations, you know, from week to week. So there's the decision, and then there's Maynard's reaction as well. So, yeah, descent rule is a mess once again, and not for the first time.
On record as saying Josh Dacos the best kick and the best decision maker in the competition, and it was on show again the other night. It's almost like the $1 million kick. Not a lot of players take this kick on, but I've picked out 3 Josh Dacos. Have a look at that. Under pressure to be able to nail that kick and to put a teammate into better position. I mean, these kicks are just, they set your team up. They make you so much better as a football club. Now, that's a dangerous kick, but he makes the kick time and time again. Josh Dacos under pressure. Look at the score, 1 point down. Can I make that kick? This is brilliant. And now the game opens up for Collingwood. So Nick Dacos not out there, but it doesn't matter because this guy is a jet and he's just such a good user. Have a look at that. Sets him up.
You've still got him ahead of Charlie Curnow when it comes to those precise field kickings?
Charlie Curnow?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
was amazing last night with a couple, and the week before.
If he was playing for another club, we'd speak about him a lot more. It's more about his brother that gets spoken about. But he's having an awesome season. Josh Dacos, Jeremy Cameron, well, he was back to his best. The only aspect of his game that was off was his set shots. Normally he just doesn't miss, but he missed some set shots he should have kicked. But to have 11 scoring shots, phenomenal. Like 7 goals, 4. Braden Maynard started on him and he was just too big and too much of a handful. Then they tried Murphy at one point and then they finished with Billy Frampton. But that was an amazing goal, that one. Yes, he did get a couple of lucky ones, but if they do make the finals, it's going to be brilliant to see Jeremy on the big stage again.
I think Jeremy Howe needs to go back to shore up that defence, which he will do now. I think with more out. They get a lot of goals kicked on them, Colin.
Yeah, but I'm not sure they can win it if Howe's not in that forward line.